Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You're listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobo.
I'm Jimmy Parks.
And filling in for Josh
Jordan.
Jordan. You want to do it again?
Oh, that was kind of funny.
Welcome to the podcast, Jordan. Jordan is filling in. Actually, you're filling in technically for Jimmy, and Jimmy's technically filling in for Josh.
Yeah, I got a mug up here this week. This is a big deal.
Man, welcome to the table. And old Josh Chomick is currently on tour.
He's in Chicago right now.
He's in Chicago. Really?
Yeah, he's waking up in Chicago today.
So Josh Chomick is off traveling the country. But it's good to be back on the Garden State podcast. And before we start today, I have a story.
Okay.
Before I say anything else, as the listeners know, we record every week at 6:30 in the morning because we have lives, families, jobs, and stuff. So we record before we get to all that, bright and early. And this morning I was leaving at like 5:55. I stopped at Wawa in Springfield, and on my way down to Elizabeth, shout out to the Vintage City offices. And I stop at the Wawa, and I see my gas attendant, same dude every time. Manny's his name, great dude. And he's like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "On my way to record the podcast." And he's like, "No way, that's awesome." And I say, "Are you still listening?" And he goes, "Man, I'm a Jimmy Parks Ranger."
No way.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm a Jimmy Parks Ranger." I said, before he said that, I was like,
Oh.
I was like, "Yeah, Josh Chomick is on tour, so we're down a man." And he goes, "Is Mr. Parks there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm a Jimmy Parks Ranger." It was the funniest thing.
That's so funny.
And I said, "You better listen to this podcast because I'm telling this story." It made my morning.
I saw my friend Dylan this weekend down in South Jersey, and he was like, "You'll never guess what happened the other day." And I said, "What?" He's like, my friend sent me a clip of the Garden State. And Dylan replied, he's like, "Oh, I know some of those guys." And then he's like, "Do you know Jimmy Parks?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's who my friend is." It's just so funny.
It's weird how that works. But this guy is, I wish we had some merch here I could drop. I got to drop some off at the gas station for him. But
Oh, yeah.
really good guy. Always, positive sort of attitude. And my coffee is great. I'm drinking Wawa of Springfield right now.
Nice.
I'm going to fill my mug a little bit more right here. But
before we get into our weekend recap, you just reminded me of something that we haven't talked about on the podcast, and it's something that's unique to New Jersey. Our relationships with our gas station attendants. The same guy's been pumping my gas for years.
That's a great point. My parents have a gas station, a Shell by their house, and the same guy has been pumping since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he's never changed. He's just there. He's like a fixture of this Shell gas station.
Yeah.
And you're right. That is an interesting thing. For me, it doesn't really affect me because normally I just pump my own gas.
Yeah.
As he walked over and said what's up to me, I was scanning my car because I'm at the point where I just don't care. I'll just pump it, especially at Wawa.
But isn't it weird, those people in your lives who just, they're there. They have no real significance, but they're just there. You see them all the time. I don't know my gas station attendant's name, but I probably talk to him more than some people I'm actually friends with.
No, it's true. I remember this lady worked at Dunkin' by my house, and I would talk to this lady for like 15 years of my life straight.
Yeah.
Probably from like 6th grade when I could first bike there with my friends through college. I would just talk to this lady.
Yeah. She
was like super nice older lady, worked there forever. She would sell us when we needed when my mom needed half and half. I don't know if this is like standard for Dunkin' Donuts, but they would sell half and half for really cheap. And my mom would be like, "Can you go get half and half?" So I would go to the Dunkin', the same lady would be there. She'd always hook it up. But you're right. It's like the type of thing where I don't really even know her, but like for 15 years of my life, we talk.
I think it's like a comfort thing. When I was growing up, me and my parents used to go to the Rustic Mill Diner in Cranford pretty much every Sunday. And obviously the stewardess was always the same. That stewardess now works at Manny's in Clark. So you go there, and it's just like that sense of like home, just seeing that same face.
Same face around. Rustic Mill, classic diner, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Many a nights spent at the Rustic. But yeah, it's interesting. Well, welcome back to the listeners, and welcome to Jordan. Jordan, how does it feel to be behind the helm of the producer's chair?
It's very intimidating.
Is it?
It is.
Especially since you're not from New Jersey. No, I'm just kidding.
Now I know what Josh Chomick sees all the time. He just sees my body and my head's cut off. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of weird not being able to see Jimmy. It's just like
Jordan, you
Peeking
have
around there.
you have a Devils hat on today. Sorry for interrupting
do.
you. You're a big Devils fan, and
am.
I think one thing we want to bring to the podcast is more sports related content. Maybe not in the podcast, but across our social channels, if you want to say it like that. What's the outlook right now on the Devils? Anything we need to know going into the season?
I mean, people are saying this is like the highest expectations they've ever had.
Wow.
I mean, they've won the Stanley Cup 3 times, but this year, I mean, everybody's expecting a cup because most people have them ranked number 1 in the league. So
Who are the all-star athletes we should be looking out for?
I mean, you got Jack Hughes. I feel like everybody in New Jersey pretty much knows him by now.
It's a good American name.
Yeah,
Jack
classic
Hughes.
American name. I mean,
He just sounds like he has flowing blonde hair, and he's like just a frat bro.
oh, he is.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah,
any-
it's like
this
all the
is-
girls just show up to the games just to see him play.
Okay, here's what I want to know. He looks really young, actually. How do you get the name Jack Hughes, which is just like an all-star sort of name, and you're a fantastic hockey player? Sometimes the stars just align in interesting ways.
He's blessed.
It's like Sammy Sosa. What a name to be like if you're going to be an all-star baseball player.
Yep.
To be named Sammy Sosa. What a name. Like, you can't make that up. Barry Bonds. But maybe it's the affiliation in my brain of like growing up watching them play. The name has more meaning because some names, Babe Ruth, like you can't write that. That's just the magic of sports. Jack Hughes, great hockey player. Go ahead, sorry.
He's got his brother Luke Hughes on the team too.
Not
That's
as
another.
cool, not as cool as the name, but it's still pretty good.
I mean, he's got his other brother Quinn Hughes.
Wow, like
That,
Quinn's
that was
a cool
that
name.
was kind of cool.
They definitely came from an upper middle class family with those names.
Oh yeah,
Quinn. I mean,
They're
that's
definitely
like
wealthy.
your dad is working for Morgan Stanley, and he's making a fair living. But all around, Devils are looking good.
oh yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be a good season.
I think we gotta change your name. Maybe Jordan Sports.
Jordan
I like
Devils.
that. And Jimmy Parks.
Jimmy Parks, Jordan.
I give the Parks report. He gives the sports report.
I think it has to be more hockey related.
Yeah, because I only follow hockey.
No.
Like Jordan Net? No, Jordan Puck.
Jordan Hughes.
Jordan Puck.
Jordan Hughes. you're the fourth brother. Shoot, that's crazy. Oh man. Well, how does it? So you feel okay being in Jimmy's spot, stand at the standing desk?
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer to sit, but
Oh, you can. It's adjustable.
It's height adjustable. Yeah, I would not mess with it because the wires might.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that right now.
We kind of have built it to be standing, so like all the wires are hooked up in a way. But well, welcome, Jordan. It's great to have you, and you'll be back probably in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to see.
Yeah,
If you guys like me.
We'll see how it goes today.
So every week we do our weekend recap.
Weekend recap.
Jimmy, you always are doing something on the weekend in New Jersey. It blows my mind. What did you do this weekend?
So I actually escaped to New York this weekend.
Really?
On Saturday, I went up to Minnewaska State Park, and I went up there to take some photos, and it was beautiful. The weather was not beautiful, but the pictures turned out beautiful. There was rain in the forecast. I knew what I was getting myself into. Got up there. It was only a light drizzle. Did my hike. There's these really beautiful cliffs out there. And
You took some really cool
it
photos.
was super, super foggy. And I was like, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing with my friend Maddie. We're about to start the 5-mile hike back to the car. And we're on this cliff ledge. And all of a sudden, I just hear this roar in the background.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, oh, that's not good. I was like, either that's some really, really strong wind or that's a lot of rain. It was a lot of rain.
So you got stuck in the rain?
It was a miserable, miserable hike back to the car. I was wearing a rain jacket. It didn't matter. I might as well have just been wearing a t-shirt. I was soaked. But me and you went to Minnewaska State Park probably about 6 years ago.
I was going to ask, this is where I went with you with the
Yep.
overlook. To the listeners at home, if you're looking for a really cool hike, that's what, an hour and a half from
Yeah, probably an hour and a
Central
half from Central.
Jersey. It has some really cool overlooks. I remember this. That was a fun
Yep.
hike. Yeah, that was a good time. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we went with Jeremy Kopecki was there.
Yep.
My friend Rob was there. It was a really good day.
Well, that's awesome. Where were you? You were by a bonfire somewhere.
Yeah, then right after that, I went down to Medford, New Jersey. One of my friends had a housewarming party.
Oh, nice.
It was a lot of It's a lot of fun. Good weekend. I was off on Monday. I took, the listeners may know my friend Damiano. I took some photos for his save the date for his wedding.
Excellent. Very nice.
So it was a good weekend. What about you, Sobes?
Saturday, we went to Sunday Motor Co. in Madison,
classic.
Madison, I think. If you're from the Morris, Union, Bergen County area, you've never gone to Sunday Motor Co. Look it up. It's a cool spot. I hate to promote them because they stole my idea. I'm saying this tongue in cheek because they didn't know they stole my idea. But when the Garden State Cafe opens, which is coming, trust me, it will be it'll be similar to Sunday, and it will be called Rip-Offs, but I don't really care because I had the idea many years ago. So we did that. It was a lot of fun. And we just kind of cruise around. On Saturdays are we just kind of like there's a thrift shop in our town we go to, thrift a little bit. And Sunday I was all over Jersey, just kind of cruising around. I was doing a community service project, we'll just say. Awesome. And so I was helping out in Plainfield and in a few different towns, just with some different projects. It was a lot of fun. So mainly kind of a local sort of weekend. Yeah. But Jordan, what did you do this weekend, bro? Anything interesting?
I think you already know. I played pickleball.
That's
every single weekend.
So where's your favorite New Jersey pickleball court? And you don't have to say it here if you don't want it to be overcrowded, because these listeners, man, they'll show up.
Yeah. I mean, I like Clark. They started charging though.
What?
Yeah.
The pit?
Well, the pit you could go to, but I think they're probably going to start charging there too. But they have over by the Clark High School, the Clark Rec Center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was just you had 100 people showing up there on Saturday mornings.
Really?
Yeah, so they started charging. You have to get like a yearly pass to it.
How much is it, $15 for a yearly pass?
I think it's like $100 or something.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to jump in here for a second because this is starting to get on my nerves.
Yeah.
So the courts that Jordan is talking about, those are supposed to be tennis courts, but these pickleball players have overtaken them. Yeah,
Jordan and I have a conspiracy theory on this, on the pickleball stuff. Because pickleball is clearly sweeping the nation. In another world, if I had a lot of money, I'd be opening a private pickleball arena studio, which I've seen in some cities that people do that, and it's really cool because they just make them look really awesome and get a membership. But I have a theory that Big Tennis is very upset about pickleball. Right
I bet.
Oh, for sure.
And Jordan mentioned there was an article in, I like how anything is big. Big pharma, big tennis. I think big Netflix should be a thing next. That's another theory. I'll say that later. But so the New York Times ran an article about how pickleball is increasing the cost of healthcare in America by hundreds of millions, and maybe it was even in the billions. It would make more sense of dollars because of hip replacements, knee replacements. Did you hear about this?
No, but I have a story to go along with this.
So my theory is that the WASPy writers at the Times, the Post, all these places that love their tennis are doing a smear campaign against pickleball because they want people to be afraid of it and they want the sport to die down. I think it makes complete sense when you think about the fact that tennis courts are being ruined right now by these pickleball players.
So my question is, if I'm going to play tennis in Clark, do I still have to pay for this membership to use the courts if I'm not playing pickleball? I don't know. That's a different story. We'll get into that another time.
Well, the courts are different sizes, Jordan. So can you play tennis on those courts?
I mean, you could because they're portable nets, so you can move them out of the way.
So they're playing on the tennis courts.
So where's the tennis net then?
It's in the middle.
Yeah, it kind of separates the courts to prevent the ball from.
So you play on a half of a tennis court.
Yeah, you can actually fit 4 pickleball courts on one tennis court.
So what they're doing is they're using the tennis net. It's just a fence now. It's kind of disrespectful of sport
and
tennis.
Jamie, you were a tennis player in high school, right?
Yeah, I played second singles.
Wow.
But so on to the injuries with pickleball. Funny enough, a few years ago, my uncle down in Georgia was playing pickleball. Just was running to get the ball. He came down on his front foot, shattered all of his toe bones.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a dangerous sport for the older Americans.
Shattered all his toe bones.
Yeah.
And pickleball.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah. And I think to this day, it's been probably 5 years now, he still has major problems from it.
Wow.
So,
Jordan, you ever break a bone in pickleball?
Not in pickleball.
Okay.
I broke a finger though, but Unrelated.
I never broke any bones yet. Knock on wood.
Before we get into our podcast this week, we want to let you know that we are recording our podcast from our studio at the Vintage City offices. Are you a small business owner? Do you have a project that you're working to build and you're looking for a space to host it? You need an office. You need just a dream space to really think about what you're trying to build, or you just need a little bit of privacy. Well, the Vintage City offices have you covered. Go to vintagecityoffices.com/garden state and fill out the form. We want to work with you. You can come hang out with us. This space is truly beautiful. It's a brand new building, and there's lots of amenities. Check it out and come work with us.
We have our Garden State hoodies back in stock at thegardenstate.com. I don't know what else to say.
That's a great little read there, Jimmy. Was that your first time doing that?
It was my first time.
We also have mugs, t-shirts, keychains, and we're getting into the space of making cars.
No way.
Yeah, we're trying to do a Tesla kind of thing.
You know what I've been getting a lot of requests from
Yeah.
friends? More hats.
Yeah, I have a new hat coming.
I'm very excited.
We just keep restocking our other merch and spend all our money on it. So we'll get there. But there's merch on our website, thegardenstate.com. Check it out today. Support the podcast by wearing the podcast on your body.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So what do you guys say we get into the mailbag before we get into the news for the week?
Let's do it.
Before we do this, I just want to say we mentioned doing a mailbag episode.
Yep.
We will be recording that most likely on this Monday. You're listening to this on Friday or over the weekend. On Monday, maybe Monday night, we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
So
if
that's
you-
the 16th.
The 16th, yes. So call in with any question you have. Try to keep it brief if possible, so we can. If you keep it brief, we can make it into a clip for our social media channel. So
Yep.
if it's a 2-minute long message, it's kind of hard to do that. So if you want to call into the mailbag, the number is
908 67 99 99 3.
Hi, Garden State. My name's Maria, and I'm calling from Hoboken, New Jersey. Love what you guys are doing with the podcast, long-time listener. And I just wanted to, I know you were talking about German food the other day on the podcast, and I'm not German, so take my word with a grain of salt. But Pilsner House in Hoboken has really good German food, probably like the only place in New Jersey that I've had it so far. It's made to order really good. I also want to give a shout out to Griddle This in Dumont, New Jersey in Bergen County. I work up there, and great little hole-in-the-wall place with bagels, lunch, always so friendly, fast service, love the people that work there. I just wanted to know what your favorite New Jersey hole-in-the-wall spot is, and if you have any recommendations. All right, thanks. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Maria.
This is hard.
Favorite hole in the wall spot in New Jersey?
It would be dumb for me to say the Dive. That's like
The Dive in Cranford?
Yeah, that's like a well-known hole-in-the-wall spot.
Yeah, no, it's a
Like,
pretty famous spot.
So I don't know if it's considered a hole-in-the-wall because it's famous.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I mean, it's somewhere in between. What's the actual name of the dive? The Riverside Inn?
Yeah, Riverside Inn.
That's a good question, though. Jordan, do you have a favorite like hole in the wall spot, local spot that's just suits your needs?
I do, but I don't even know the name of it. So
Really?
yeah,
You just want people to start going there.
Wait, so
it's a Puerto Rican place in Union, I think it is.
and you just go there, you have no idea what the name is.
Yeah, just kind of find it.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it right now. Union, Puerto Rican. What do you get there?
I don't even know because every time I go there, every time I go there, I go with my girlfriend. She just orders for me.
Oh, el lechon de Negron.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I've had food from there before.
Yeah,
It's actually really good. Oh, she orders for you?
yeah, because I don't even know what to get.
She's fluent in Spanish?
Yeah, she
So-
grew up in Puerto Rico, so
Really? So
Yeah.
she just rips off an order for you, and you're like, all right, sounds
yeah,
good.
well, yeah, I'll eat it. It's good every time.
I've had they make very good food, very nice people as well. For me, hole in the wall locations, I feel like I go to less of them because usually, like I used to go to White Diamond and Clark quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was the hole in the wall, but
I haven't been there in years.
yeah, it's not my spot as much anymore, to be honest. But I'll say that just as a placeholder. Summit Diner, another kind of hole in the wall, although it's a famous diner. Like that spot, I go there quite frequently. Beyond that, I don't know.
Can I tell
Santillo's Pizza, not a hole in the wall, but great local spot. Yeah.
Can I tell another story about my weekend real quick? This mailbag just reminded me of it a little bit. So on Friday, after Arizona tour rehearsals, me and Nate from Arizona, his girlfriend, and then someone else who's on the touring crew, we went to this Mexican spot in Lodi. Mm-hmm. And so I pull up, and it's valet. And I was like, oh, no.
Really?
I was like, this isn't good.
That stresses me out.
Right? So I pull up, and I say to the guy, hey, do I have to valet? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I let him valet my car. I walk inside. This hostess asks for, like, how many are in your party? We say 4. What's your name? What's your phone number? So I thought we were going to have to wait for a table.
Wait, was this
I don't know what it's called.
La Fortaleza?
It's right on the main highway, though.
Yeah, I've been there before.
So
it's like really colorful.
Yes, a lot of stuff on the inside.
Yeah, I've been there. Go ahead, sorry.
So like some of the booths are like old VW like vans and stuff. Yeah, this is the spot.
Okay.
So she takes down all of our information. Then she's like, okay, come over to your table. And we're like, oh, then why do you need all that information? So we go sit down at this table right at the front of the restaurant next to what appears to be a DJ booth.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh, well, thank God nobody's DJing. So we order. All of a sudden, this DJ comes in with a videographer.
Oh, no.
Sets up, and we're like right next to the speaker. Our food comes out. We were silent the whole rest of the time. We couldn't hear each other. It was...
Really? Were you in this video at least?
I hope so. I took a few Snapchats of it because I was like, this just isn't real life right now.
That's legendary.
So
Let me see your photos.
Let's see one of these videos.
Oh my goodness.
And they had like a Jumbotron.
I've seen the Jumbotron.
Well, there's a better one.
That's right next to your table.
This is...
That's amazing.
But I mean,
sounds like a good time to me.
If I was like in the mood to club or something, sure. But I'm just trying to eat my burrito.
That's amazing. The air horns make it.
He loved the air horns.
We have one of those somewhere on the soundboard, I'm pretty sure.
But sorry,
maybe not.
Sorry for hijacking this.
No, it's
story,
fine. It's fine. I tend to do that to Chomik a lot. But all right, let's get into the news for the week and keep this train moving forward. New Jersey home values are rising faster than other states, leaving some wondering what is causing the trend.
We talk about this so much. It's just getting so impossible to buy a house. Like both of us right now are kind of in the market for homes.
Yeah. And
it's just so daunting.
Yeah, it's crazy because New Jersey homes, like the headline says, the values are rising faster than other states, which my guess would be it's the supply issue is just more common in New Jersey than elsewhere. But here's what the article says. While home values across the country have risen 0.4% in the last year, New Jersey homes are worth 5.2% more, according to Zillow. As of July, 64.5% of New Jersey home sales in the past year have been over the list price, and 24.7% have been under the list price, according to Zillow. Across the country, those percentages are quite different. 40.4% are over, and 41% are under. The average home price in New Jersey is $492,394, while the average home in the United States is much less, at around $349,000. So New Jersey's higher home prices are driven by two key factors: its proximity to New York City and its population density, which is the highest in the country. So we have a lot of people packed into a small space. And the Garden State has two of America's wealthiest counties, Hunterdon and Somerset. Yet there are other areas of New Jersey that also have high home values. So what do you guys think about this? This is kind of crazy. We're living in the middle of I just feel like the world is shifting. Things are changing.
Well, I think a lot of this has to do with work from home too, right? So if you only have to go into the city to the office 2, maybe 3 days a week now, post-COVID, it kind of affords you the ability to move a little further away from like the population center. So you got people moving to these more rural areas that previously was too far for them to commute every day.
I don't blame them. If I get a remote job, I'm probably going to move to the country.
Yeah. No, I don't blame them either. It's
Get
just
a little land.
It's annoying for people like myself who would love to move to the country, but now homes that were, let's say, $300,000 a few years ago are now like $500,000.
It's strange. It's strange times, and I don't know what happens next with this. I think it just feels like New Jersey is like we're kind of going up the roller coaster right now. Like the click, 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 click. Like it just everything keeps ramping up and up. And I don't know if there's a steep decline after this, like a roller coaster, where economic downturn or what, but it just feels like everything gets more and more ridiculous by the day. Home prices, the things I see people spending, is crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, I want a house as much as anybody, but you're spending too much with the high interest rates. And if you're a dual income family and one of the people let's say 2024 economically is rough, and someone loses their job, I don't know how people keep their homes, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Especially with people spending like $100,000 over asking price. It's insane.
Yeah. It's really weird. It's what do you guys think about, so here's my conspiratorial brain leaking through the whole, you will own nothing, you'll be happy. I keep hearing people say that. Have you heard that?
No.
I have.
You've heard it, Jordan?
Yeah, the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, like the World Economic Forum is like it's like a group of world leaders that come together and they plan the vision for humanity economically, basically. And the current vision is we're going to move to more of a society where people will not own anything. You'll rent most of what you have. And to use the phrase that I just said, you'll be happy. Huh. And that's kind of the plan of Klaus Schwab, and it was originally sounded like conspiracy theory, but it's all pretty plainly laid out. I don't think it is. Is that a conspiracy theory, Jordan? What do you think?
I feel like a little bit, but I've been hearing so many things about banks are no longer giving mortgages because now they realize I could just go buy the house myself, and then we could own it for the rest of time. Like they'll never sell it, and they could just generate income from rent for eternity, essentially.
RFK made a good, interesting, and we mentioned RFK. Last week at the end of our podcast, we mentioned this to the listeners, but I'll just throw it in here. RFK is actually, his campaign headquarters are here at the Vintage City offices, and he had an event here 2 weeks ago, and I almost went. I didn't get they invited me to stop by. I just had a family event. I couldn't go. So I've been listening to him here and there, a few of his points. This is not an endorsement. Just one thing that he said that I thought was pretty interesting was he talked about how the three major institutions we keep hearing about, like BlackRock and Vanguard, and who's the other one?
I forget the other one.
There's
a couple.
They're buying homes, which is part of why we see this crazy spike in the cost of homes. Is these financial institutions are buying homes and then renting them. And he was saying that if we don't change anything by year 2028, I think he said, or 2030, 60% of residential homes in America will be owned by these institutions. Wow. Which is going to make it, that's at the trajectory they're at right now, which kind of, I think, messes with the conspiracy theorists' brains, because you're like, well, what the heck is going on in America? And that is, to me, when I look at New Jersey has a supply issue, and that's not a theory, that's just the reality of supply and demand. There's not enough homes. They're not building more homes. They're building luxury, massive, buildings in suburban centers. Which were never designed to have apartment complexes in them. Like if you go to, we've talked about it before, if you go to Cranford or Westfield or Fanwood or Scotch Plains, which is the area I grew up in right along North Ave, these are traditionally suburban towns with little houses that, in the 50s, they built Sears Roebuck houses. And so that the middle class could have homes. And now what we have is you have these luxury apartments going in everywhere in these areas. And I think the vision for the future is that we're just going to be renters. You're not going to own a house. I think if this is to take it a step further, Governor Murphy said this was his plan with Metro Park. Metro Park was his kind of project to reinvent, to reimagine, let's just say, how people in New Jersey live, because the idea would be you don't need a car. They're going to put new buildings in by the train station. So you don't need a car. You can do everything close to your house. You can walk to your supermarket. You can take a train to work. And I think that is the future for New Jersey. if something doesn't radically change.
Well, even look at our friends. How many of our friends own homes versus renting?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think right now.
Yeah.
If I really have any, I have a few friends, maybe 2-3 friends who own their own homes.
I think they have to be in unique situations.
Yeah.
Like, definitely
dual income.
Yeah. So I'm 29 right now. All of my friends that are 31 plus seem to be in a situation where they got on the wave before it crashed.
Yep.
Where, like, I think of my oldest brother, he's not 31. He's old. He's like 8 years older than me, but he bought his house at like probably 33, 32. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like the time, I don't know what age he was. He might've been older than that, but people bought the houses in 2018, 2019. And that was kind of the wave. You had to catch that wave. And then now things have shifted, and we'll see what happens. I'm not totally pessimistic. I can't be for my own sanity.
I mean, there's always ups and downs. Like, for example, my neighbor moved in I think 2008 and then sold his house in 2020. And he actually ended up selling his house for less than what he bought it for.
Really?
Yeah.
2008 to 2020?
Yeah.
Well, he missed the wave too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He bought it right before like the economy crashed.
No way.
Yeah.
He's the most unfortunate. So he bought high and then sold low.
Yeah.
So he bought right before the greatest downturn of, real estate in American history in the last 50 years. And then he sold right before the greatest upturn.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Never buy a lottery ticket with him. Or never let him buy you a lottery ticket, I guess. That's wild. All right, well, enough doom and gloom. It is what it is. We will survive. Humanity moves on. You just got to be aware of what's going on and pay attention and make your voice known to the politicians. This is why I go on and on about, we got filthy rich politicians getting gold bars in their suit jackets. Meanwhile, regular New Jersey residents at home, the millennials, and even Gen Z hasn't woken up to it probably yet, are realizing this American dream that my parents lived out may not be as much of a reality for me unless my wife and I are going to work tooth and nail and claw our way to the top of some, corporate structure to make it a thing, which if that's your reality, that's your reality. It is what it is. Or unless you receive a large inheritance, which, hey, I know Jimmy, that might be your situation, bro.
Can you imagine? I just come into a ton of money.
You have a Rolex.
Well, the other day I was just thinking, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to win the lottery, like the $1.7 billion.
I've had that thought before. Like when I was at my last job, people, you all go in on the ticket.
Yeah.
And you start to, there's like a brief period of time there where you start to just daydream a little bit.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
You're like, if I got $200 million.
I would give you like 10 mil.
Yeah. I'm paying off everybody's mortgages. Yeah. And then I'm getting a compound in Colorado or Montana.
Yeah. We'll fly out to do the podcast.
Getting my helicopter license for sure. Getting a house in Cape May.
You could get a helicopter license now.
Yeah, but I have to work and stuff. So if I could just quit work altogether and just have a ton of money.
Okay.
Then I'd be flying a helicopter all over. All right, let's move on to the next story here. This next one is pretty bizarre. 9 students and teachers were sent to the hospital this week at Glen Rock High School after chemical exposure.
What?
Yeah, this is...
Wait, so you're just going to school one day and all of a sudden you're exposed to chemicals?
Yeah, it says 8 adults and a student were taken to hospitals after exposure to a chemical at Glen Rock High School on Monday, forcing the early dismissal of classes for the day. At about 8:30 a.m., police and EMS personnel were dispatched to the nurse's office at the school on a reported medical emergency for a student exposed to a chemical brought from home. So a kid brings a chemical to school.
Did they say what kind of chemical it was? Was it like a drain cleaner or something?
We'll get there. It says, after suffering a medical reaction, a student was taken to Bergen Newbridge Medical Center in Paramus for treatment. 5 school staff members, a police officer, and 2 EMTs from the Glen Rock Volunteer Ambulance Corps who provided aid to the students were also exposed to the chemical. The 8 were taken to the Valley Hospital or Hackensack University Medical Center to be medically cleared. Investigation found that a student brought a hazardous substance to school from home. Hazmat technicians identified the substance as thallium, a metal used historically as rodenticide and readily available on the internet.
What is rodenticide?
It was used as a rodenticide. Let's see what that means.
I've never heard of a rodenticide
Any biology,
before.
any chemistry teachers listening to us? Rodenticides are chemicals made and sold for the purpose of killing rodents. Oh, like a pesticide, like a rodenticide.
Okay, duh. Rodent.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
What was he doing with it?
Yeah, I was going to say, why did he bring it in? He just thought it'd be fun.
Maybe there's like
bring it
rat.
in his
Maybe there's a rat problem at the high
maybe.
school.
He was trying to help them and
What in the world?
going about it the wrong way.
He was putting his lunch in his locker, and then it's like, oh, there's some rats in here.
Here's what I'll say, and I'm going to throw a bone out to Glen Rock. If you're a student or a teacher or a parent in this district, and you have the sauce, like you know what happened here, call in the mailbag, and we'll deepen your voice so you're anonymous. Like we'll distort your voice, but because I'm sure there's some teachers that want to call in and say what happened here. But this is kind of wild. Yeah. What's going on with the youth?
I don't know. If there's a rat problem, tell the janitor or something. Tell the principal. Don't try and take matters into your own hands.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it was a rodent problem. I think kids just getting some weird stuff. I mean, everybody has their things.
You're sniffing rodenticide.
My
in the
brother,
bathroom.
my older brother was one of those. You know how some boys are just drawn to it's probably most boys at a certain age, but they're really drawn to like military stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, he was one of he had a Vietnam era surplus bulletproof vest that was like 80 pounds that we had. I don't know where he even got it from, but he was the kid that would go camping and he just was that guy that was just into watching the movies and somehow he got a hold of a roll of fuse.
Oh God.
And I don't know where he got it from, but you're talking about a spool full of fuse so you could make explosives, I guess, and stuff. I don't know. Not that he was going to do that. He was a pretty normal kid. He wasn't going to hurt anybody. But
It just is cool when you light the fuse. It's not going to blow up at the end.
So he lit the fuse in his bedroom. My poor mom.
Is this RJ?
Yeah, I have for the listeners that don't know, I'm one of 8. I have 3 brothers, and it was pretty much all just regular guys.
Yeah.
Meaning into doing paintball guns and stupid stuff. So my oldest brother was especially like that, and he lit this fuse, and I don't think he realized that fuses release a ton of smoke. You can't even imagine how much smoke. So the entire upstairs of our house is filled with smoke, and the smoke alarms start going off. And he's freaking out, and my mom is screaming, "Do I need to call the fire department?" Oh my gosh!
Did you all go outside? What
I just
happened?
remember being "What is?" Because I looked up the stairs, the upstairs of my house, and it was just a plume of smoke. And my mom, because moms they're freaking out. Yeah. She's like, "Do I need to call the fire department?" She kept yelling at. He's he comes running out of the smoke. He came out of the smoke like a firefighter in a movie coming out of I just remember seeing him run down the stairs, and he's like, "No, I lit a fuse." It was all fine. Everything worked out. Fire department didn't come.
Was he grounded or something?
I don't know. I think he was too rogue. I don't think he was old. He was probably 16. I don't think grounding worked at that point in my family's house. For him, at least. I mean, maybe he was grounded, but it was hilarious. In hindsight, it's funny.
Yeah.
In the moment, he was in a lot of trouble. Yeah. But he was the same brother that had this is back when he was the paintball gun generation. I don't know. I think we just barely missed that.
It.
But guys right now that are age 32 to 38 all had paintball guns. They had Tippmann 98 paintball guns. I remember he would go paintballing with his friends. And there was one time he opened the back window of our house, the second story window, and he put the surplus vest on me and a big double XL t-shirt, and he made me run around the yard, and he just did target practice on me. So that was what I dealt with. That was my childhood. He was. Did
you think it was fun, or was it you were forced to do it?
It was fun until he got me in the foot, and I was barefoot, and I was the little brother that because I had 3 older brothers. So they'd always make me cry. And when I'd start crying, it was like, oh, mom's coming. But she was at ShopRite, so this is the tangent. But
Your poor mother, she comes home and your older brother's just shooting you in the
he's just
backyard.
pelting me. We had one of those inflatable pools, and I was hiding behind the side of it.
They put a hole in the pool and all the water came out.
It wouldn't put a hole in the pool, but he was just like, he was like, do. And I was like running around, and then he finally got me in the foot. And I acted like he shot me with a real gun. But yeah, that was my childhood. So
It explains a lot.
the fuse just reminded me of this story for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I could see my brother doing this, I don't know. But we'll see what happens in Bergen County. I'd imagine this kid's going to face some consequences. Maybe he was doing a science project. Maybe he was being a deviant. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jamie, I trust your instincts. What do you think?
I don't know. He could have accidentally brought it. He thought he was bringing one thing in, brought something else. Who knows?
How do you accidentally bring that though?
I don't. Maybe.
What do you think, Jordan?
I don't know. Maybe it's a TikTok challenge. I don't know. Bringing rat poison to school. Maybe that's going to become something.
I think there's more to the story that we just don't know. It's very vague. We got to get that
what's vague
local
about
mom
it?
to call in.
Yeah, well, what's vague about it, though?
Just like the
A
reason.
kid brought poison to school.
But why?
Because kids, man.
I don't know.
I don't see any other reason.
Well, we'll find out when we have a caller call in about this.
All right, sounds good. All right, moving on to the next story. A video has gone viral showing members of the Coast Guard rescuing 3 people from a sinking boat in Ocean County, New Jersey.
This is actually pretty sad. This is the second occurrence of a capsized vessel in New Jersey within the last month.
Isn't it kind of crazy?
I mean, thank God that they were able to get all 3 people on this boat out of the water.
Yeah, did you see the video or no?
I did. It's pretty cool. It looks like you're like in Alaska, right? This looks like Deadliest Catch. Like they're
you're right.
they're saving people off of like a crabbing boat in the middle of the Bering Sea.
I think this looks like such a fun job.
Oh, I would love to
be one of the
helicopter,
coasties that just shoots around in a helicopter and drops the bucket.
Yep.
That has to be a lot of fun. But yeah, thank goodness they were able to rescue him. But here's the brief little tidbit the article gives. It says video showed the dramatic rescue of 3 people aboard a sinking boat in Ocean County, New Jersey. A U.S. Coast Guard helicopter crew saved them Saturday in Great Bay near Little Egg Harbor. The rescue crew hoisted all 3 people to safety as the boat capsized. No one was hurt. Where's Great Bay?
It's by Tuckerton. Maybe like exit 52-ish on the Parkway.
Oh, it's beautiful. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful down there.
Little community.
Remember when I said Great Bay Boulevard was one of my favorite
Yes.
roads in New Jersey? Yeah, it's right, obviously right there.
It looks really, really
So-
nice. Nice golf course, country club.
Choma can go.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this, Jordan? What do you think? Capsizing boats. We keep seeing this. What's the deal? Is it just the rough currents? I know you've probably never been on a boat, but I'd love your perspective.
I've been on a boat one or 2 times.
Okay.
Never in the ocean though.
A rowboat, a canoe, like a real boat.
I've been in a kayak, a real boat, on a lake in the bay, but I've never been in the ocean. I don't know. I think there's a conspiracy here. I think.
You think?
There's got to be.
I mean, on this podcast, we always seem to find a conspiracy in all things.
No, I think it's just
It's just a misfortunate situation.
misfortunate situation, and just thank God that everyone was able to get out okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And thank God for our Coast Guard, right?
Yeah, shout out to the Coasties listening to the pod. That's, doing the Lord's work, flying in on a helicopter, rescuing people. And like you said, Jimmy, we had another situation just a few weeks ago here in New Jersey where some people, one individual tragically lost their life. And boats, man, I'm getting to the point where I just kind of want to live a life of extreme safety. I'm not going on boats anymore. I have no desire to skydive.
Yeah.
Cars are getting kind of freaky even. I'm about to just start riding my bike everywhere.
Well, I think they say statistically, like you have the best chance of getting into like an accident in a car over any other mode of transportation.
Because of the high volume of people driving every day versus like they always say, well, airplanes are super safe because how often does an airplane crash?
Like once every...
But also every individual in America drives a car.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
that kind of makes the statistics a little bit weird.
And maybe we've talked about this on the podcast before, but anytime I see like an accident on the parkway or something, it always like freaks me out. Like, oh, if I left my house like 2 minutes later, that could have been me. Or if something bad does happen, it's like, oh, if I left 5 seconds later, or this other person who was involved left a minute earlier, it wouldn't have happened. Like, that type of stuff just freaks me out.
What do you think is causing for these, at least these last two situations, for these boats to capsize? Is it they're getting caught in a current and getting hit by a wave and taking on water?
So the first one, I know that it was like going into the inlet, and I think that's like going to inlets. There's dangers associated with them to begin with.
That was in Point Pleasant, right? That one?
Yeah.
That one, the canal there's like notoriously like one of the worst.
Is that where the guy films people leaving? Have you seen those videos?
I have
on
seen
TikTok.
those.
Yeah.
I think there is a guy that sits there and films people
Yeah,
leaving.
he does it in like Miami and Point Pleasant because those are just like the two worst places where you have all these inexperienced boaters. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, this one I'm not really sure if it was going into an inlet or what, but something went wrong. Also, the article, it says it was just sinking, so I'm not sure if it capsized. I read somewhere that it capsized, but
Yeah, it's it does say it capsized.
But
wouldn't a boat capsize as a result of a wave or taking on water?
You probably would have to hit a wave wrong, and it could just be simple error, right?
Yeah,
it could have been a rogue wave that was bigger than the rest, and
interesting. All right, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, like you said, Jimmy, they're alive, and you got to be careful on your boats. And if you have a boat and you want just instructions on how to be careful, invite us on the boat.
We'll help you out.
I would gladly give instruction and just like hang out and, fish and, just invite me on your boat.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a big boat.
Especially like, I don't know, next 4th of July or something.
Whoa. I am free that day.
Yeah, me as well.
Hey,
we'll
give
what? You a shirt.
Listen, I'm just going to throw this on the pod. My father-in-law has this tradition that I'm now, he didn't have son, he has 2 daughters. So I was the first son-in-law. And every Thanksgiving Eve, we go on a little not a little, but we go on the Moji, I want to say, charter boat out of Atlantic Highlands.
Okay.
Moji. I'm going to say it wrong, and I think we do striper.
Cool.
Does that sound right? Striper in the fall?
Yeah.
So if anybody listening to the podcast has a little charter action, you want to bring us out for some stripers, listen, man, we'll give you some advertising. Maybe we'll throw in some cash. And the annual Garden State fishing trip needs to become a thing.
Oh, yes.
I think we should do it.
I would love that.
I think we should start a fishing trip. Jordan comes with us. He's the captain.
Oh, sick.
We got to bring...
So, hand over the keys to your boat. Jordan's got it in
Get
his
a special
hands.
hat and everything.
He said earlier he's been on a boat like once or twice.
Yeah, but I know what I'm doing. I watch enough videos,
Yeah. I've watched...
Got to take the wave straight on. Don't go sideways.
Perfect. That's all you need to know.
That's all I need to know.
What's that show where they go chase after the crabs?
Deadliest Catch.
Yeah, like I've watched enough Deadliest Catch to know how to...
or swamp people.
Yeah. All right, moving on. This here's another good one. A New Jersey home made with 47,000 sheets of gold leaf has listed for $9.9 million.
This really just leads into the story we were talking about earlier.
It does, but I want to leave something in this video. Josh Chomick, when you edit this, I want this in the video. To the realtor that listed this house, you're giving the Garden State a cut of this sale when you sell this property because we're about to expose the entire state of New Jersey to this house.
Yeah.
We need to start doing that.
I know.
Like, what are we doing?
We're giving them free advertisement to sell their $10 million home.
I want 10% of this realtor's fee. Here you go. Here it is. In the serene landscape of Saddle River, New Jersey, a home that is nothing less than an architectural masterpiece has been listed on the market. Not just any home, the luxurious mansion is adorned with 47,000 sheets of 22-karat gold leaf, making it an epitome of extravagance and exclusivity. With a whopping listing price of $9.995 million, the home offers a unique opportunity for prospective buyers who wish to dwell in opulence. The mansion boasts a theater, a wine cellar, a gym, a spa, catering to all the needs of a contemporary luxurious lifestyle. The listing of this golden marvel presents a rare chance for affluent buyers who appreciate architectural elegance and wish to own a distinctive residence. Yeah, this is like a realtor definitely wrote all this.
Could you just imagine having so much money that you're like, yeah, we're just going to coat all the walls of my house in gold leaf. Like, I have nothing better to do with this money.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you get to a point of wealth where I think people are just trying to prove something. You're like, you put gold all over your house. We get it. Like, forgive your dad. Forgive whoever hurt you in your life that said you weren't good enough. It's like, at that point, when you're painting your walls with gold leaf, you got to go, what are you trying to prove? Who hurt you? You got to let it go.
It's like,
You agree, Jordan?
Yeah, but I think I know who's going to buy this house.
Who? Jack Hughes?
No, Bob Menendez.
oh,
This is going to be his house.
Wait a second, because the gold?
Yeah, you're going to try and fit in his suit jacket.
It looks very Trump-ish. Like when I see the
That's
gold.
what I thought.
Yeah, anytime
when
I think of
heard
gold,
it.
like
gold painted on stuff.
gold covered,
Doesn't he have like
First thing
a
is Trump.
gold like toilet Trump?
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I don't know if
so-
it's true. Maybe it's just gold colored, but this is actual 22 karat gold leaflet, which I don't know how expensive a leaflet of gold is. I don't think it's that expensive, to be honest. But 47,000 of them. I mean,
That's a lot.
let's see, 22K. Let's find out. Leaf of gold. Here we go. Golden leaf products.
Okay.
Okay, so it's expensive. Okay, so 500 leaves are $700.
Okay.
So let's take 47,000.
Do some quick math here.
And I'm sure it'd be cheaper if you go even
In
more.
bulk.
But divided by 500 is 94 times 700. This story is getting infinitely less cool when you find out.
$65,000.
Yeah, but they probably spent more like $50,000. So it's still pretty epic, but like that's the cost of most of us renovating our kitchen. So
And that's the cost of like an okay car. Like if you're that kind of millionaire where you're buying a $10 million
Yeah.
house, that's probably what, a quarter of the price you're paying for a car.
So to Jordan's point, I think this is below the status of Bob Menendez.
Yeah, now you said that, I mean, he's probably not going to go for it.
Yeah, it just seems very middle class to have only $50,000 of gold leaf.
I mean, what's the standard to be like upper class or even upper middle?
I would say like, $800,000 in gold leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That seems like baseline entry level. Like that's the starter pack. So if you're interested, if we have a listener that's worth this kind of money, first of all, I'll
Sponsor us.
send you my Venmo. But
I mean, if you just want to send us $65,000, we're not going to say no.
$65,000 to fund the podcast. I mean, or just be our angel investor.
Or what if we turn this house into our studio?
Ooh.
Instead of this wall, it's just all gold leaf.
We would be like New Jersey Nelk Boys at that point. It would turn very quickly into a thing that I don't think we want it to be. But now that we know gold leaf is that cheap, we should, gold leaf this road board and our mics.
Yeah. Gold leaf the
mugs.
cups.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know you could get it for that affordable. That's at goldleafproducts.com for anyone interested. Oh man, they have everything on this site. I'm about to go make a purchase.
It looks kind of like a sketchy website. It doesn't look like a trustworthy place to get your gold leaf.
Yeah.
It looks like it was designed in like 2004. It has like a gold bar across the top of it.
I don't want to bash them because
They might want to invest.
they might want to invest some gold leafs in this podcast, but you never know. All right, let's keep going here. Let's keep the momentum up with our next story. A New Jersey couple has been charged with animal cruelty after pretending to be animal rescue workers.
This is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of person are you?
Yeah, you're the kind of person that gets charged with animal cruelty.
I'm pretty sure, actually, this is a follow-up to a story we did a few weeks ago as well.
Is it?
I think this was one of those people who had like 40 dogs and cats in their home.
I was
or
wondering
something.
that. That
Yep.
makes sense.
I think this is like a new additional like information that's coming out about that.
A South Jersey couple previously arrested for endangering the welfare of a child in animal cruelty have been charged again for impersonating an animal rescue employee and assisting with the crime. Evesham police said Tuesday that 35-year-old Rebecca Halbach posed as an employee of a local animal rescue where she was presumably helping facilitate with adoptions and care of animals. She had help from 32-year-old Brandon Laconey. However, Halleback was not an employee, nor was she a volunteer with the animal rescue she claimed to be a part of. The investigation also found that Halleback failed to provide proper adoption and care for the animals that were given to her. Halleback was charged with animal cruelty for this in August. Now, Evesham detectives are investigating more computer crimes the couple committed while she was posing as an animal shelter employee. Police anticipate more charges to come related to these crimes. Halleback and Laconey were again held in the Burlington County Jail in Mount Holly, pending a first appearance in Superior Court. During their investigation into the couple, detectives discovered a burglary and theft had been committed at a couple's home on the 600 block of East Main Street while they were incarcerated. So officials allege that this is so dramatic. There's so many things going on. A 54-year-old Kelly Bowen entered the home without permission and took items from the couple's home. Bowen was later arrested and charged with burglary, theft, and trespassing. So there's a lot going on here. But posing as an animal rescue worker, that's a new one on the podcast.
I've never heard that before.
Sounds like something Jordan would do.
I mean, I would try it.
Is that okay? Question: is that stolen valor?
I feel like it kind of is.
Do you get a discount at like the local shops if you're an animal rescue worker? That's like the lowest.
Probably do.
Dude. That's like low level stolen valor. Like I could get away with that. Like if you go to the mall, for people that don't know, stolen valor is when people dress up as military members and get the perks, the benefits when they didn't actually serve. Going to a store as like dressed in as like a Marine is pretty messed up. Going to a store dressed as an animal rescue
That's
worker,
as bad as it gets.
that's even worse, dude.
Yeah.
That's like impersonating a Navy SEAL. I did 3 tours of PetSmart.
Not to take anything away from our animal rescue listeners.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you work for them, you probably see some of these animals in some pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure. You were just saying to my comment, not to take anything away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to listen. I keep running into people that work for vet clinics, and God bless veterinarians because it's not a job I could work.
No.
I'm a dog lover. You know, Jordan's a dog lover too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Jimmy, you never had a dog.
Oh, I did.
Really?
Yeah, her name was Katie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She died before I met you, unfortunately.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was coincidental. That me coming into your life killed your dog.
Probably. This explains a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, we always finish these stories and I have nothing to say. I'm just like,
It's
there it
just-
is.
Well, it's
We've
kind of
laid it out for you.
outlandish, right? Like, this person has all these charges, and then you find out on top of all of this, you're impersonating an animal officer? Like, what the heck?
Can I say, I have to say, because this story is about Mount Holly, I think Mount Holly is the nicest sounding, that's the nicest name of a town in New Jersey.
Yeah, there's not even a mountain there, though.
But if you could rank the
I thought
names
this was about
of,
Evesham, though.
they're in jail in Mount Holly.
Oh, okay.
Evesham sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like a holiday or something.
It's beautiful down there. It's in the woods.
But Mount Holly just sounds so idealistic. It sounds like a little Christmas village.
Yeah.
Do you see it, Jordan? Like a little Hallmark village.
I can picture it.
I've driven through before. I think they have a cool, like, main street, like, downtown area.
I'm looking at a photo. They got some. Yeah, it looks beautiful. Shout out to Mount Holly. What is this creature? Oh my goodness.
Is that like a Halloween thing? Or?
Okay, I have a quick point. I like fall decorations. I like when people get the Halloween stuff up.
Yep.
You know, whether it's pumpkins or whatever. But when adults go a little too hard for Halloween, it makes me uncomfortable.
It depends.
When I see a house, you know what's the big thing this year is people got like those 12-foot skeletons.
Yeah, I've seen those everywhere.
I'm like, what is going on? Like, guys, I'm totally fine with you doing the jack-o'-lanterns but then you see these yards where it literally is like a guy, like a mannequin is slaughtering a child, and you're like, what's wrong with you? It's this. Look, you're in a community of other people. Relax.
I like the ones that aren't like the store bought, like the DIY homemade ones.
That's cool.
There's this house down in Haddon Heights, actually, that this person always goes super hard for Halloween every year. This year, they set up a whole like cornfield in their front yard.
That's cool.
It's really, really cool. They got a bunch of like corn stalks and like put them in They had like a pole, and I don't know. Their whole front yard is now a cornfield all of a sudden.
I like when people go hard for any holiday with their decorations. I think it's fun. I think there's a distinction with Halloween where some people go hard and it's cool. You're like, oh, that's really creative. That's like, but then there's some people where it's just like, let's see how gory I can make my front lawn.
Yeah.
Like, let's make it like just absolutely demonic looking. And I to me, I'm like, I don't know. When my daughter's like 3 and I'm driving by, I don't want to have to like,
see that.
there's the house with like the guy getting his head cut off, which is how some people like, there's a difference between like a cornfield where it's creative and like, oh, that's really spooky and interesting versus just like, how disturbing can how much can I disturb my neighbors?
Yes.
There's some people that are not going to like that take. That's fine. I don't really care. But I think there's a distinction between like really creative, interesting, kind of cool and just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Maybe that's an L take. I'll
No, I agree with you. A lot of these decorations are becoming so realistic.
Yeah,
And the motion sensor stuff, you're just like walking by. I was walking through Cranford the other night, and I'm like just casually walking by this house, and all of a sudden this thing starts like screaming at me on this person's front lawn. It was like a werewolf.
At the same time, I will say I love the vibe of fall.
Oh, it's my favorite.
I
time
love
of
the
year.
spooky vibes. I love,
Yep.
We get a great fall in New Jersey.
Oh,
And
yeah.
not every state is privileged to have like a real October. We get a true October. I love that my wife gets these pumpkin candles. My house smells like fall. I'll admit it. Fall is awesome. And then like the fall kind of spooky atmosphere of like, it's just something fun about it. It's like a step down from December.
Yeah.
Like we also get a true Christmas.
Yeah. We're super privileged here in the Garden State.
You guys ever see those memes? Either it's like on TikTok and Instagram where they're like, it's like Christmas in the 2000s. And
Yes. I just saw one recently.
It's like random images, like a Target parking lot in 2004. And it's very specific to our area if you think about it. It's like Northeast images.
Yeah.
Like it looks like the Woodbridge Mall. And man, it makes me really sentimental.
Yeah.
Same.
I can't watch them. They make me so sad.
I know. I
Or
have
it's,
to
like, it's always that song.
recover for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
What's that song from now on?
Have yourself a merry little
Have
Christmas.
yourself a merry little Christmas, bro.
Frank Sinatra, right?
Whoa. Did you hear that? Is that the spirit of Frank Sinatra in the studio? Wow. Yeah, I can't watch those videos, man. We get like the actual Christmas vibes for real. I'm so excited. This is the best time of the year.
Yeah.
It really is.
October kicks it all off.
You wake up, it's like just crisp outside.
I love walking out to my car and starting and warming it up a little bit and having a coffee. Man, I'm an old man.
Parts of North Jersey got their first frost yesterday.
Really?
Up at High Point.
Wow. High Point's a cool spot to see around this time of year. I'd encourage people, if you go get a Christmas tree, you cut one down, try to go far out. If you're up in North Central Jersey, like try to go way out 78 or way up near High Point. You get so much of a better experience than going to your local Home Depot.
Oh.
And even like there's like the spots, the chain spots that are 30 minutes from your house. No, go way out.
Yep.
Go like almost in Pennsylvania and cut your Christmas tree down. It's a different feeling. It adds so much to the experience of living in New Jersey. And I'm excited. You guys are getting me excited.
Yeah, we're getting that time of year.
We are officially October 11th right now. Like, it's getting real. We're getting ready for the holidays. And after Halloween is over, this is going to annoy some people. As soon as we're November 1st, I'm thinking Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Christmas music.
Ooh.
Yeah, I start Christmas music really early. And then I told my wife, like, there's a list of, I like to watch every Christmas movie. I'm one of those people. Not like the Hallmark stuff. She's into that. But, like, I'm going to watch, every year I watch It's a Wonderful Life. My favorite movie. You got to watch all of them. Both the Home Alones. I say both because there's only 2 of them. All the classics. Jordan, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I don't have one.
What? How do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
I don't know. I was going to
Polar
say Elf,
Express?
but actually, yeah, Polar Express is pretty good. Or I can't even think of the name of it. What's the one with Chevy Chase?
Oh,
Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation. That's
a funny one.
I'm like trying to think of it.
That's probably my all-time favorite Christmas movie, hands down.
It is a funny one. Chevy Chase, it's kind of interesting how big of a deal he was.
Yeah.
for a period. I also love that a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s were made, to my point about fall in Jersey, they were all made near Chicago.
Yep.
Like all the coming of age movies. And it just feels, Chicago suburbs, I think, are very similar to New Jersey suburbs. Same sort of, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when you see him driving around the nice neighborhoods here, it just feels like it could be New Jersey. Same with Home Alone. Yeah. That's a Chicago suburb. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on from this very tangent Christmas conversation to the next story. The largest Hindu temple outside of Asia has been built in New Jersey by 12,500 volunteers.
I heard about the story, but I didn't realize it was built by volunteers.
Well, there's a lot of controversy around the labor, which we can get into. But this place, have you seen photos of this?
It looks insane.
Like, it looks like enormous.
Well, if you just like drop me here, I would not think I was in New Jersey.
It's pretty crazy looking.
I kind of want to go visit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it looks pretty wild, like the statues and everything. The largest Hindu temple in the United States opens its doors Sunday in New Jersey. Built in the small town of Robbinsville, the 183-acre plot of land will be the largest temple in the U.S. 183 acres.
It's huge. That's huge.
That's enormous. I mean,
there's probably a farm there before, I would imagine.
Yeah. Here's a quote. It says, "I wake up every morning and scratch my eyes thinking, am I still in central New Jersey?" said Yogi Trivedi, a temple volunteer and a scholar of religion at Columbia University. It's like being transported to another world, specifically to India. The temple will be officially inaugurated on October 8th, and on the 18th, it will be accessible to the general public. For Indian Americans and Hindu Americans, this represents a massive milestone, Trivedi said. Built by 12,500 volunteers from all over the world, the Akshardham has been in the works since 2011. But it made headlines a decade later when a group of immigrant laborers sued the global organization BAPS, which has temples all around the world. The lawsuit alleged shocking conditions, including forced labor, grueling work hours, and inhospitable living conditions.
Wow.
And caste discrimination. For these long and difficult hours of work, the workers were paid an astonishing $450 per month, and even less when defendants took legal deductions. The initial complaint said their hourly pay rate came to approximately $1.20 per hour, which is kind of interesting. But a spokesperson for BAP said there's a distinction between employment and religious volunteer service known as seva. So it sounds like we'd need a Hindu person to explain this to us, because I don't want to misspeak and mischaracterize what's going on here. But it sounds like some people were volunteering and being paid as volunteers, $1.20 an hour. You know, it's kind of interesting. But nonetheless, this place is enormous. It's kind of crazy to see how huge it is. And 12,500 volunteers, bro. That's crazy.
I can't even imagine. And if you were one of those volunteers working on it, like, how much time would you spend? Are you spending like a full work week here for the last 12 years?
Well,
it doesn't. Or is it just like whenever you're free?
That's why, I mean, there were different people working on this, so I don't want to misspeak, but
I just can't imagine like having that many people helping over an amount of time, just coordinating that. Like, okay, today you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Yep. Like, that's a huge feat.
We should get 12,000 volunteers from our audience to build us a studio, like a massive, not a studio, we have a studio, but like a massive compound.
Yeah. Multiple studios.
130 acres, like the Amish will all show up together and build a barn in a day.
You ever see where they like lift up the entire barn, like
the
move
Amish,
it?
Bro, they're so legendary.
They really are.
So what you're referring to is the barn movings?
Yeah, where they have 200 guys and they just lift up the barn and just walk it
What I want to know is, why does it need to be moved?
I don't know. Why not just build it in the spot you need it in this?
I was just going to say, if you're Amish, call in, but
you can't call in.
Send us a letter maybe. Did you guys hear that there were a lot of Amish people exposed during that emergency warning last week? So
because their phones went off?
You know how there was the emergency alert on everyone's phone at 2:20 or whatever?
Yep. Yeah.
there's been stories about Amish people being kicked out of.
Wow.
I don't know how it works. I don't know if they kicked them out or they were just exposed for having phones hidden.
That's crazy.
Because they didn't know the alert was coming, which is kind of funny. But yeah, if you guys want to do an Amish barn raising for the Garden State, can you imagine if we got like 500 listeners to come, like we bought all the supplies to build a studio on some piece of land?
Or, a house for me.
Well, I think like a Rob Dyrdek fantasy factory is the goal in all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a warehouse where we could have like a half pipe and.
That'd be so cool.
Do you even skateboard?
No, but I
You just want it
there.
there.
It just looks cool. It's a conversation piece, really.
Yeah, I think we could invite people that skateboard.
Yeah.
I just think and this has become, I think people don't realize that Rob Dyrdek, he made the blueprint. All these YouTubers that have warehouses now, like Dude Perfect,
Yep.
or what's the guy's name in Florida that is like crazy?
Danny Duncan.
Danny Duncan has a warehouse now. Mr.
Yeah.
Beast has a warehouse. The first person to do it was Rob Dyrdek. He made the blueprint for us. And there was no man right now in America between the age of 28 and 38, that decade, that's like, I guess, my generation of guys, that didn't at one point go, I kind of would love to have a warehouse like Rob Dyrdek. I feel like that was just part of growing up in that era. So, all right, let's keep it growing. Last story of the day. A New Jersey physician has been charged with illegal opioid distribution.
I feel like this is becoming more common.
Or it's just something that happens and we just haven't noticed until we read New Jersey news.
I guess. I mean, this is a true shame.
What I want to know is if you're a doctor, you've gone through, med school, you went through all the stuff you have to go through to become a doctor, and you're making,
Good money.
$350,000 a year,
Yeah.
up to $1 million a year. Why do you got to do anything as a side hustle? It's crazy to sell opioids when you're a doctor.
You get into this profession like to help people, right? So that selling them opioids is illegal and you're hurting them. There's no good that's going to come from it.
Yeah, and I think the thing to me that's crazy, and this is her. This is Lisa.
Really?
Yeah.
She looks like the type.
Yeah, she does. The thing to me that's just absolutely insane is there are bad people.
Yep.
There's evil intent in every sphere of life.
Yeah.
And, there are good people in every sphere of life. There are people that genuinely want to do their job well and help their community. But there are bad people. It's not relegated to one class or career field, or it's everybody. Like there's bad mechanics and there's the best
Yep.
person you've ever met in your life is a mechanic. There's bad cops and then there's the best person you've ever met in your life is a cop. It's the same with everything. Mm-hmm. It's like amazing how that works.
Well, and she looks like she's later in her career. So how long has she been doing this for? And it's so sad, like you've been a doctor for maybe 20, 30 years and you feel like you have to do this.
Yeah, well,
And what else has she done in the past,
yeah.
too?
So let's get into it. It says Hillsdale, New Jersey-based internist Lisa Ferrero, MD, has been charged with conspiring to distribute OxyContin without legitimate medical reason. From January 2020 to August 2023, Dr. Ferrero, 65, allegedly participated in conspiracy to prescribe OxyContin to individuals who posed as patients despite never being seen by Dr. Ferrero. Wow. According to an October 6th news release from the DEA, among the patients were two individuals who were incarcerated while Dr. Ferrero prescribed the drugs in their names, which is great. So people in jail are getting Oxy from this doctor. The complaint claims Dr. Ferrero allegedly wrote approximately 425 prescriptions for approximately 36,500 pills, which were typically split three ways between Dr. Ferrero, a conspirator who recruited the fake patients, and the fake patients themselves. The charge of conspiracy to distribute controlled substances carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a $1 million fine. Yeah, this is very poor timing on her part, because right now, if you guys haven't been keeping up, we're having a conversation culturally about Purdue Pharma. Have you guys seen all this? I think I mentioned this a few weeks back.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think.
So Purdue Pharma basically created Oxycontin. How do you guys say that? Oxycontin? Does that sound right to you?
Oxycontin. Yep.
Because I'm reading it, and I'm feeling insecure because it's not spelled like that. But so Purdue was going to pay out a $9 billion settlement, and then I believe it was the Supreme Court paused the settlement payment because I think in large part there was a Netflix show that came out about what Purdue did in the 90s. And it's very, very sad. And we've all known somebody that's been affected by Oxy or by, these
Prescription drugs. Yeah.
these drugs, yeah. And it's really, really sad because you see people's lives ruined by it. And, shame on any doctor that would take advantage of the system to distribute, to be a drug dealer, which is unfortunately what this lady became. And she's going to do jail time. She'll probably pay a fine. She's going to lose her license to practice.
It's bad.
How did you? That's such
that might be a hot
controversial-
take, but
You got to relax, man.
I'm sorry.
You're going a little too hard with these takes.
Yeah, I might be a little too harsh on her, but shame on her.
Yeah.
Whoa, Jordan.
I'm sorry.
You got to
might have to
cool
cut
off.
that out.
Man, yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And Jimmy, he almost went down a path. A few years ago.
I thought he did go down the path.
Yeah, well,
No, I
he's
steered
back.
him away. And that's why I'm his mentor.
in many aspects of my life.
Yes.
But you know what? She's going to jail.
Gabagool.
I just felt like that needed to be thrown in there.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the doom, the jail cell. There we go.
She's going to jail.
And she's our criminal of the week.
She's the New Jersey Garden State Criminal of the Week. All right, and with that, that's the end of this week's episode.
Jordan, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
You are great at this.
Am I?
I don't know. We haven't seen the notes he's taken yet. So.
Yeah. All right.
I've written like 3 things.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding.
No, Jordan, you've done an excellent job. And Jimmy, it's great to have you at the table with me.
Yeah, it's great being up here. This is a whole different experience. I think I might start sitting down because it's made this experience a lot nicer.
Do you think we could just get rid of Chomik?
No, because he still has to edit all this.
Well, he always says he doesn't want to be a podcast guy. He just wants to be the editor. So maybe
Okay.
we just kick him out.
Not a bad idea.
This is Chomik from the future reporting in to the Garden State. Jimmy Parks and Soba, I love you guys, but you can never get rid of me. I control this podcast. I control what you say. I have the power at my fingertips right now to change whatever I want. So you guys can never get rid of me. I love you guys. Miss you. See you soon.
This was I feel like this was a good episode.
I really, really enjoyed this episode. I hope the listeners enjoyed it as well. Shout out to Josh Chomik on tour.
Yeah.
Thanks for continuing to edit this while you're running around like a maniac.
Be safe, Josh.
Yeah. I'm going to see Josh on Tuesday in Denver. So I jump on tour for 2 weeks.
You going to shoot some film out there?
I just got a whole bunch of film delivered from B&H. I'm super stoked.
What do you shoot nowadays?
So Ultramax is back in stock. It was
Okay.
They had like a supply shortage of it for a while, so I do a lot of Ultramax 400. I've been shooting a lot of black and white right now, doing
Okay.
some Tri-X.
That's awesome.
And I've been straying away from Portra. I was a big Portra guy for a while. I do some Fuji still, but
Have you seen that there's a company creating a sensor right now? It's like a sensor attached to a film canister, and you're going to put it in your film camera.
Okay.
And you'll be able to shoot digital through your film
yes,
camera.
I have seen that.
Which is kind of like we're going down this rabbit hole of like, okay, so now you're shooting film, but now you're going to shoot digital on film.
Yeah.
Next is going to be a digital camera that shoots film. Like it's just, make up your mind.
I just love film so much.
It is fun. It is fun.
The images just come out so much better.
Yeah, they're beautiful. There's just a warm glow. But
Yep.
all right, thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you next Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and go check out some fall foliage this weekend.
Go to High Point. Go to Stokes.
Yeah.
Stay in New Jersey. Go local.
Oh, yeah,
Worthington State Forest.
As we close, Jimmy, foliage check. Where are we looking at the foliage this week? Fall foliage, if you want to see it.
I would say like midpoint up in northern New Jersey.
Okay.
So, and then you're starting to get some of your maples and stuff changing in the Pine Barrens, all your huckleberry, that type of stuff. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I think throughout the whole state, we should be seeing some change coming into this weekend.
Awesome. All right. Go check it out, everybody. We'll see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.
Later.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.